Welcome back to RMS. Today we've got this BMW X6 in. It has got a saggy rear end, not the gym kind. We're going to dive into what's causing this drop. We'll walk through our process, the checks we do, and by the end of this video, you'll see exactly how we got this Beemer back to level ground. Let's jump in. Right, we've got this BMW X6 in. As you can see, it is on the floor. So it's been to a garage, they've checked it out. Apparently the fault codes what are coming up, they're not sure what's going on. The only thing I do know is that the pump is activating if I open the door. Don't know if it will now. Obviously not, but I have heard it activate, so the pump is getting power to it. So we need to run some tests on it, find out what's going on, see if we've got a problem with the ride height sensors, maybe some holes in the airbag, something like that. It's only got rear airbags on this, the fronts are on springs, that's why it's only gone down the back. So we're going to run through it, I'll show you what we find. Right, so we're giving it a scan with a ThinkCar 399. It has only got one code in there for the CAS, which is Car Access System Body Control, but that doesn't relate to anything on the suspension. So it's only got terminal 30 reset or activation. If we go into chassis management and electronic ride height control, so we've got no fault codes in there whatsoever, but it has been to another garage. So they could have cleared the codes trying to get it back online, which is fair enough. Right, so we're going to go in, we're going to try and activate the pump itself. That will confirm, obviously, so you can hear the pump running. But as you can see from the back, it is not going up. So, obviously, two things could be, well, a few things it can be. It could be bad airbags, it could be any valves or anything sticking, it could be the compressor's failed itself, so it's not creating enough pressure to pump it up at the back. Doesn't sound like we've got any hissing or anything, as if it's got split airbags or anything like that. So what we're going to do is drop down under there, get the compressor out, do some tests on the compressor, see if it's creating any pressure, see if the valve's working, what puts it to the back, controls the back. But first thing we're going to do is jack the back up. We're going to go into the ride height sensors and just make sure it knows where they're meant to be. So I'm going to go into the live data in this. Let's see. So we have to come out of that. We have to go into integrated chassis management. Right, height sensors. So it knows where the fronts are and everything like that. But these they're the fronts. The lefts are out. So I'm going to jack it up, make sure these go up and down, so it knows where the car is, so it knows where to set it. So let's make sure they're working first. So obviously it's jacked up, the ride height sensors are moving, so it's not as if one of them's fallen off and they're stuck or anything like that. So now we know that's okay. I think we're going to have to strip out underneath, get the compressor out, do some tests on that, and then we'll work out some sort of test procedure to see what we're going to do. So don't make it easy. Obviously, taking all that under tray off to try and get to it. Let's touch up in here. Okay, right, so we've got that down. The big thick wires we know are working because the compressor's working. All we've got is a two-way valve to control either side, and we've got a relief valve. Showing voltage to the outputs. So these valves should be open now and sending it to the back. So as long as when that's doing that, this valve, the release valve, isn't working, isn't getting activated. Right, just turn it on. So yeah. So that's not activated. The relief valve isn't activated, but the output valve is, so that should be giving air to the back. It looks like it's getting all its inputs. The two to the valves to open them up to raise the back seem to be okay. It isn't getting power to the relief valve, so really that should be creating enough pressure. So I think what we're going to have to do is strip that compressor out, get it up on the bench, check them valves manually, see if we can work out what's happening and why it's not actually creating pressure at the back. But if we can get straight to the compressor, feel how much pressure is coming out of that, and then work out from there. So I'll get that stripped out, get it up on the bench. Right, so we have got, this is the main compressor unit. This pumps up, that's the motor, that's the compressor what creates the pressure. That pumps up through here, then goes off to this double valve, and it has got, like I say, a release valve in there. But we've heard it pump up. Doesn't sound too clever, but it is going. The other bit it does, I just want to see if this valve is working. So that is literally a solenoid. As the air goes in the back, it comes out of these two. So with an earth to the top pin, I can hear that clicking, and the bottom one's clicking, and I can feel that moving. So it's not as if that's seized up. So what I want to do is strip this down, see how much pressure is coming straight out of that compressor, because out of this pipe we got very little. Got very little pressure coming out of here. So either the compressor's failed or something's going on inside the filter or the relief valve. So I'm going to strip that down. I'll show you when I got it stripped down. Right, so I've got this stripped down. I'm going to explain how this works and what's involved in it. So this part comes off. This is how it all is. Splits into a few different pieces, but it all starts with this pump in here. There's a piston pump in there, sucks in through this hole and then blows out through that hole. So low pressure, then it comes out at high pressure. I have tested that high pressure coming out of there, literally just probed it up, and it is creating a huge amount of pressure from that valve, but it's not coming out of this end. So it's a couple of things what happen. On the other side of there, we got a valve, a one-way valve, which is that, which is on there, which I was expecting to be broken, because all that does, as the pressure comes out, it pressurizes this chamber, but won't allow any of that pressure back into the piston, because then it would overload the piston. So that's working. Two things can stop the piston making pressure. If it can't get any air in, say that was blocked off completely, as a piston goes down, it goes into negative pressure. Then by the time it comes back up, it's gone back to where it started. So it has to suck in its own amount of atmospheric pressure to be able to compress, to push it out. So that bit comes through this pipe, which comes through these valves. So if any of these were blocked and it couldn't suck in through here, where there's a filter in there, it wouldn't be able to suck down there. It's got two one-way valves in there. And the reason why it's got two one-way valves is it sucks in through that one. So it will suck in into that chamber and then down that pipe. If, when it wants to lower the car down, it releases pressure, the pressure actually goes back through this pipe. It opens this valve, and then it comes from that center hole down through the outer hole, and then goes back down into the atmospheric side of it. If there's too much pressure in there, it will blow out the big hole. So that's how it works. In through the small one, through that tube, down through the compressor, into that chamber, then out of this pipe. The only thing what makes any real difference is this valve. So as long as it's creating pressure in there and it can suck in and it can get through the filter, the problem is, well, the only thing what can really affect it is this valve. So it doesn't matter whether I have power to that, no power to it, it's relieving every bit of pressure what's coming up in that centre hole and dropping it out through the exit hole. So I'm pretty sure that's at fault. But, well, I know that's at fault, but to confirm that is the only fault, what I'm going to try and do is blank that off and put it back together to make sure this is creating enough pressure to be able to then pressurise this part, which then goes off to the valves to then to lift the back of the car. If that works, we know everything else is okay. The only time it will need to use that is if you'd loaded the back of the car up with a load of cement or something and it dropped down, the car will level it back up to its standard ride height. When you remove that, then the car's going to lift up. It wants to be able to drop it back down to the standard height. So that's the only real reason it needs that. But we can test it, make sure it is only that. So I'm going to work out a way of blanking that off, which I think I'm just going to double up some insulation tape on it, 'cause it's only got to hold a little bit of tape, only got to hold a little bit of pressure to stop it going backwards. And if it lifts the back of the car up, job's carrot. So I'll show you when I've done it. Right, so we have done that. We have blanked off. Literally, the only thing we've changed is sealed off that valve. So we're going to slot it back on there, see if the car goes up, eh? So I'm just going to do it while it's on the floor, obviously. And then this off. Get the pipes on there first. Yeah. Right, so that is obviously confirmed the fault, that valve is at fault. So we need to find out whether they do a valve, whether they sell them separately. They might sell it as a whole compressor. So we'll have to do a bit of research into that. But at least we know all the bags are okay. The compressor's working okay. It can create the pressure it needs to raise the bags. Job's a carrot. So I'm going to have a look into it. I'll let you know whether they do a valve separately. Right, so they do sell a valve. This valve here. That part, I thought the solenoid was inside and it would release the pressure from the centre hole to these outside bits, but it actually looks like that bit is separate. So that could just be seized up in there. It may just need pulling out, cleaning up and putting back in. So I'm going to take it apart quickly. We've got to take it apart anyway to fit a new valve because they do sell one. But we'll have a look, see if that's doing that, and I'll let you know. Round two. So this is the part which that is down completely. I thought it went out through that hole and there would be a needle in there which shuts that valve off from that part there. But apparently it's not. But let me show you. This is, solenoid is a magnetic valve. That's what they do. It uses magnetic force to move an internal part. So if I put power into there, just put a live and earth into it, you should hear it move or do something, and it's not. Yeah? So that has got to be stuck in there if it is the same as the picture. So let's just get a grip on it. It's corroded. So that bit of corrosion in there is getting it to stick in. Right, so there's no spring. Two ways a solenoid can work. That would be sprung loaded and held deep in there. And when you put power to it, it would suck it back in. Or when it puts power to it, it pushes it down to lock that off. So yeah, it's got to be the way it does it. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to clean that up. I will power it up on the bench so we can see it moving. I think that's going to be it. But that's going to be fully on all the time until it wants to relieve the pressure. It's got to be. So I'm going to clean that up and I'll show you it working. So unfortunately that solenoid would not clean up. It didn't matter how much I sanded it down, it wouldn't go in there nice and free. So unfortunately we're going to have to get another valve for it. So I've ordered one of them in. That'll be in next week and we'll get that done. That's another one diagnosed. Hopefully you like what we saw on that one. Hopefully you learned a little bit about the compressor, how it all works. And yeah, we will see you on the next one.